Hi there, welcome to Gaining Vision with Melanie Taddeo-Nxumalo. One of the other beautiful schools I was able to visit while I was in South Africa was the Pretoria School for Cerebral Palsy. This is a beautiful school with such an amazing, vibrant culture. It caters to learners with cerebral palsy. It is all on one level. It was bright and airy, and the educators definitely do this work from their heart. What I loved most about this experience was enjoying the passion that the principal and the educators had for the learners. We were able to tour the premises to see the different spaces they had. A lot of time spent with the learners in occupational therapy as well as physiotherapy, ensuring that their physical needs are being met as well. They have excellent space for exercise and movement, and they do a lot with the learners to make sure that their comfort is at the forefront so that they can continue to be in a good place to learn. Some of the occupational therapists shared with us the program that they have for wheelchairs. Obviously, most of the learners are either in a wheelchair using walkers, crutches, etc., depending on the severity of their cerebral palsy. They were sharing with us that it costs 6,000 rands for a manual wheelchair. And of course, they try to have as many manual wheelchairs on site for the learners to ensure that they have it with ease. This way that the learners have a wheelchair for them at school, because many of the buses are not accessible to transport the learner using the wheelchair from home. They have opportunities for the learners to stretch out, as well as different services as far as it goes as exercise. They have tables, specialized training and massage to help the learners ensure their comfort. They also have great opportunities for the learners to participate fully with fully accessible school, hostels, and playground. It's amazing to see the brightness of this school to ensure that it's a happy place. And again, that comes with the attitude and demeanor of all of the educators. You can see the passion to help make a difference. And the learners have great opportunities to participate in sports and activities fully, ensuring inclusion at all aspects. It was also a great opportunity to learn about the different programs and services available for individuals with disabilities through the school. The principal was very knowledgeable and shared a lot of great information, and I was able to tour. And in this video, you're going to see some of the great things I was able to experience in this environment as well. Like all special schools in South Africa, they do receive funding from the government as well as from the Department of Education. However, there are still many costs that are not covered, so fundraising is a big part of what the principal and the staff need to continuously do. I would highly encourage you all to please check out their website and social media platforms. This is one school I would encourage everybody to give a little bit to, if not financial. Perhaps you have experience and expertise that you could donate some time and get involved, because they need the help to continue doing the excellent service that they are providing and making sure that all the learners have equal access to every possible opportunity for these learners. Enjoy the video, and again, I look forward to continuing the collaboration with the Pretoria School for Cerebral Palsy. It was an honor and privilege to see the great work that you're doing.
Is to showcase special schools and showcase special schools in Gauteng that we regard as flagship schools. We've got an international ambassador coming to the country that we're incredibly privileged to have that. So therefore, when we showcase, we want to showcase the best of the best. So that is why we've identified these schools that you will be visiting today, the schools that you'll be visiting tomorrow, to showcase what we regard in Gauteng as the best of the best, so that hopefully you can learn from us. At the same time, we're going to grab the opportunity with both hands, fingers, everything there that we can, to learn from you as well. And at the same time, the third thing, and the thing that we're incredibly excited about, is to form a partnership, a relationship moving forward. What is Pretoria School for Cerebral Palsy? What makes it, as I indicated, a flagship school? What happens at this school?
Cerebral palsy is when there is an injury on the developing brain and that causes a physical disability for the learners. It is also the most common physical disability in childhood, and cerebral palsy can have different effects on different learners and different body parts depending on which area of the brain was affected. And the child with cerebral palsy may have muscle weakness or stiffness, may have shakiness, they have slowness, they have problem with balance, coordination or walking, and motor control. So what is our primary area of support? And most importantly, our primary focus is on limiting the impact that a physical disability have on the holistic development of the learner. We have a systematic multidisciplinary support approach. We are in the lucky position, as you heard, to have various therapists at the school. So first and foremost, we look at the infrastructure of the school. You will see when we walk around in the school that it is much different than from an ordinary school. We don't have stairs, we have railings and smooth surfaces. We can't have a mobile classroom without a ramp to make it accessible for the learners. Then we have therapeutic interventions. When we introduced ourselves, you heard that we have a speech therapist, occupational therapist, and a physiotherapist, and they form a very important role within this approach. So when we look at our speech therapy, that is headed by Toinette, then we also have nurses at school, which is linked to what all the therapists are doing, and then also with the administering of medication, treating of illnesses or minor injuries that take place, wound care, and facilitate all of that as well. They also work closely with the parents to assist the parents in what to do in cases at home. We also have psychosocial support, where we have social workers that is doing house visits to give parental guidance, to make sure that our learners who can't afford it gets the needed support. We give out food parcels, we have a feeding scheme, and then
you can see it's open space, we keep learners on the floor. Let me first introduce you to my physios who are here now. Taddeo, Mr. Manuku, Mr. David, and Priscilla. We are 6 physios, the other physio is not here today. Basically what we do, we work on the floor. These mats, you know, the therapeutic mats, we take them on the floor, we fetch a learner from the classroom, bring the learner to the gym, we lift the learner to the floor, we go to the floor and do mobilization or rehabilitation, and then we put the learner back on the wheelchair, back to the classroom. So we have an assistant who helps us to fetch the learners from the class to the department and back. And sometimes we have to do it ourselves because it's only one assistant. We have only 2 gyms, and what we use mainly is our hands, physios, but we do have equipment like a tilt table. Can we demonstrate quickly? One, we can manipulate quickly, and you're struggling at everything. Very expensive equipment from the Netherlands, and I'm sure you know the tilt table. It's for learners who cannot stand, and we want them to be there. Because we're bearing is very important, I'm showing you now. So those learners, we fetch them, put them on the tilt table, and we stand for therapeutic purposes. And then I will ask Priscilla to bring other. I just wanted to show you quickly because when we ask money from head office, and it's one equipment, and it's 50,000 there on supplies. What is the physio budget? It's so big. But this is the type of machines that we use, and very expensive equipment. that one. This is another type of a standing frame, almost 10,000 each. And this is for smaller kids. Again, it's the same thing. Put a learner like this, we strap them in, then we can stand them. The good thing about this is that we can even take it to the classroom. The teacher can do the teaching with the learner standing. They can even do teaching when the learner is on this tilt table, which makes it much easier. And we know the benefits of weight bearing. Why is it important for us to stand them? It's because we need to reduce tone. As Ms. Anderson was explaining to you what is CP, it also affects the muscle tone. And the best way to reduce tone is weight bearing. And that's why we need this. We have almost 10 of this that are distributed in the school. Okay. We use a variety of things to be able to achieve what we want to achieve. We use rollers. We use blocks on the mat as we are treating. We use rollers, the mat. And we have a K-walker costing us 7,000 each. And the reason why we have this is because learners with CP tend to have that posture. And to get to correct them to stand upright, we need a walker that is from the back. So this is a back walker. And the difference is that one is a front walker. We don't use this usually with CP because they end up doing that. And this one corrects the posture, but it's more expensive. We issue manual wheelchairs. The battery operating wheelchairs are issued by Otis, but we issue standard wheelchairs also for our learners. What we do, we don't just issue, we assess learners. Like this week, it's wheelchair week. Take learners, the whole school, assess each learner, and then we see them together with OT, then we position them and add everything that is needed for that learner to be comfortable. This is the end product. It has a table. So sometimes if we are taking a learner for a long time out of the classroom, we even ask the teacher to give us the work that the learner should be doing in the classroom. And as the learner is standing, we can even do some work with the learner. Or we can do an activity with the table. Any question?
Yes, how often do you do this with the learners?
It depends with the learner. Like she said, we have to assess exactly the needs of the learners. Then we bid for periods or we schedule them according to their needs. So some learners will get more time, will be 3 times a week. Some learners will be once a week. Some learners will be monitored. Some learners will be once a month on consultative basis. Yes, and some learners we do carry over to home. I think one thing that we are emphasizing now is that it doesn't have to see the learner few minutes in the gym and it's not taken over at home because they spend a lot of time at home. So we encourage, and this year we are planning to have more parents meetings and get parents to be here, and then we do carry over and home programs.
I think they've already explained to you how many we are, and then we are working with the during the days. Like we first come early in the morning, we go to the hostel because in the hostel there's only one nurse that is actually working there since the passing of one nurse, one sister. So we're 4 actually. So we go to the hostel and we give medication to the learners that are staying there. Before they come to school, they've already got their medication so that they don't have to contradict the learners that are coming in during the day. And then when you get in here, we prepare for the day learners, so for medication and so on. And then we also wait for learners that come in when they are sick, with headaches, whatever, then we see to it that we give medication so that they can actually cooperate inside the classes. And then before we leave there, actually, our resources actually limited. Let me just say that. We try to do the best that we can with the little resources that we are having. If you can see, the clinic looks beautiful, but then we don't have a lot of like medication because you can't, the school cannot actually afford to can buy medication. And a lot of our learners also are spinal feeders that make use of like nappies that needs to can come from home, from the hospital and so on. But the hospital do not actually supply us with any nappies. So the school buys the nappies so that we can sell for them with the price that we got from the supplier. And then before I leave at the clinic, I need to see to it that all the medication is prepared for the volume 1. As Patricia is not actually allowed to give medication because I'm also part of SMT, school management team. So I need to prepare everything before I can go to the management team, before I leave the clinic. And then again, after school, we go and see to the hostel learners so that we can give medication because some of them get medication 3 times a day. And then we see to it that all of the learners are okay before we can leave and go home. That's basically what we are doing with our school. If you want to see how my clinic looks like, I'm having 3 sleeping rooms where we let the learners sleep in when they are sick while we're still waiting for parents to come and fetch the learners. Because we give first the medication of whatever that they will be complaining of. If it's something that we cannot handle, like as we are necessary without the doctor, we let them sleep and then we call the parents to say that, okay, we are having a learner that is sick with 1, 2, 3, please come and fetch the learner. If the learner cannot sit, then like when you are sick, like sometimes you cannot even like sit down while waiting. So we let them sleep in there and wait for the parents. Sometimes we struggle with the resources of like transport because our learners come from far. While still waiting, sometimes it happens that you wait up until after school, like now, while the child is still here with you, and then in between you keep on checking how is she doing, and that's it, basically. And I can tell about it or ourselves. We don't wear as uniform as like laces and all our epaulets because what we are afraid of, like when I started working at Pretoria school, we once were wearing our epaulets. And then learners were not even coming to our clinic because they were afraid of what we were doing in the hospital to say that this is also going to happen at our school. So we refrain doing that so that we can let them come in to come and see us because we know that when we are in the hospital, when you are like having your appointment and whatsoever, it's like either you get an injection or you are being agreed whatever of the drip or whatever. So we try to minimize learners to be scared of us. That is why we are wearing like this. But in some other things, because again, the education department doesn't also supply us with uniform. We can wear our uniform without epaulets, but we don't have any resources or the funds that can give us to can go and buy the uniform for the nurses.
So the learners on chronic medication in the hospital, do they come here and take the medication here, or is the medication taken to them?
No. In the hospital, when they come, like they go to the hospital, but before they bring the medication, when the prescription, the medication must actually stay in the hospital. That is why I'm saying we start early in the morning. I start 6 o'clock so that I can see to it that learners have bring their medication. Medication is like locked in the hospital where the cupboards, we do have cupboards in the hospital, and we lock the medication in there. They take their medication in there. Only when the learner is supposed to get medication 3 times, some I have to come here so that we can give like the returning so that they can go and concentrate inside the classes. But then when we talk about like the chronic medication like Epilim, the ARVs and so on, some together they only get twice a day. So it's like in the morning and in the evening. That's why I'm saying that early in the morning we give the earliest morning the 7 o'clock medication before they come to school, and the night sister will see to it to give the night ones. Did I answer the question? Okay, thank you. Any other question? I will have you to answer to ask questions so that I can answer.
No, it's so good. Any questions? Great, thank you, Joanna. Getting back to the...
They always inspire me. So I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves. You can start with that.
My name is Taddeo. I'm an occupational therapist here at the school, and I mostly work with the junior foundation phase and some of the preschoolers. It's one of the, well, everything is important, but we support them here because one of the biggest things that they need to learn here is to read and write and do maths. But with a child with a disability, that's quite a challenge. And so we try and just support the teachers and doing it in a creative way, as ATs usually do. Creative and crazy. So yeah, that's one of the things that we do.
Thanks. Hi, my name is Yadleen. I'm also one of the OTs at the school, and I have the privilege to work with our intermediate phase learners, the pre-teens going on to teens, and we run big groups, class groups, social, emotional, and also I like the crazy but fun part as well. Because becoming a young adult, you have to figure out who you are, what you can do in this world, and to be you, you have the right to be you, and you are needed in this world. So it's all about becoming a functional, independent, happy young adult, growing into the teens, and knowing that you belong here. You're made with a purpose, and that you have to go out there and be the best you that you can be possibly. So we run pre-vocational skills, so it's functional adults, growing up a functional adult, but then also having the room to experiment and figure out who you are and why you are needed as a young person in our world and in South Africa, and your rights. And that you should not feel different. Disabled, you are not a disabled learner, you are differently abled. And that's a different perspective on life, and knowing that you belong here and that you can go out there and make a difference. So that's our part. I call it the pre-teen. They are the best kids in, well, all of the kids are, but it's a lot of fun. So I feel very privileged. Yeah.
She's got such a wonderful therapeutic relationship with the kids because they sometimes struggle through that phase. Teens, just normal teens, go through a difficult stage, and she really supports them. It's like a support group, and then they also realize how their disabilities, they almost have to adjust or have to figure out themselves. And to start to love themselves, get them to view their strong points, their weak points, and how that influences their future. So it's an amazing part.
It's a massive privilege, and I see that retired here actually have the wisest words. But she said she came to school in the hope to come and learn children, but she retired and learned that they actually learned the biggest life lessons. And I can really testify to that, because when you come and you have a plan, a mission and a vision, and you know what you're working towards, but often they just humble your hearts and you grow up together. So I've been growing with them ever since. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm Tanya, and I'm standing, I just realized I'm standing sort of behind everyone. But I'm not hiding, because I actually think I'm the most competitive one here. So I like to say that I put the cherry on top. That is all the hard work, and then finally, after all the hard work and all the teaching and all the calming down the teenage hormones and stuff, then the young adults going from school to work, they come to me, and our dream and our vision for those learners are to teach them that even with my disability, whether it be social, a physical disability, a learning disability, that we teach them a little bit about the world of work and what contribution can I make, either in my community if I cannot work in the open labour market, or even in the open labour market. So we give them, we've got a class base. You will go to the class base. So the class teacher teaches them about pre-vocational skills, the importance of being punctual, the importance of all the soft skills that we as normal workers actually have. I almost want to say automatically. You know you have to be punctual. You know you have to be neat. Not always. Okay, but we drill that into them, and then when they come to the program in my side, we place them with stakeholders in our community. We've got a few people on board that we can actually place the children in, and they shadow work with some people until they are skilled enough to take some of the work over, and hopefully by the end of the program they can do some of the tasks on their own. But the focus is really to teach them the importance of being able to work, being willing to work, and that you're not different. You have to come and deliver. Yeah, and they grow a lot, and that's the cherry on top for me. I don't have to do the hard work. I just have to sit back and watch them go out into the world. And then my other passion, that's my main job. But then I've got two other passions in the school. It's seating. We've got a lot of wheelchair users, and a lot of them are multi-disabled. So if you can't sit right, you cannot use your hands right, and then they can't teach them. So I have a passion for helping learners to really be functional seaters.
I'm Melanie, and welcome to my channel. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification button so that you can get updates when I upload new videos.